Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Silas Harper Bray. Today we're going to touch back on Spartan Race. Spartan Race has been a huge motivator for me for the last couple of years to get holistic health, holistic wellness, and strength in the body. The thing is that my training has changed over the last couple of years due to COVID, due to some closings, as a lot of us can probably empathize. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about how my training has changed, and we're going to go into a little bit of a leg day split. My training has changed quite a bit over the last couple of years. I initially went for strength training and endurance training. However, when coronavirus happened and we all went home, I went for more of a powerlifting style and eventually more into a bodybuilding range. Bodybuilding and endurance training are sort of similar, but the training that I'm focused on now for Spartan Race is based more on explosive power and plyometrics. We do need endurance training for some of these obstacles that will come up on the Spartan Race, such as lifting heavy things a really long distance runs. The run that's coming up in September, for example, is 10 kilometers. My personal distance best right now is only about 5.5 kilometers, so I really need to work on cardio strength as well as upper body grip strength. So these are things that are really guiding me as I'm training for Spartan Race. Let's go ahead and get into our mobility session, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about my approach to mobility days as we're going along. As always, if you have questions, please drop those in the comments down below. Please like and subscribe for more daily videos. I'll be talking about everything from nutrition to dietary splits to recovery. I post videos every day. All right, big love guys, let's get started. All right, my dudes. So as always, we're going to start with a little bit of a warm up. For me today, I want to start getting movement into all of the joints, particularly the hips, knees, and ankles. So I'm going to be using a lot of that posterior chain or the back of the body. We're going to pull a little bait and switch with the costume here. My first shirt was a little bit hot, so we changed shirts. I'm going to start moving in a rotational pattern. Rotational patterns help to protect the body when we are experiencing heavy load. I'm going to start warming up each individual muscle, taking a little snack break here to also release my left hip flexor, which has just been giving me some trouble over the last few days. So we're going to, excuse me, we're going to massage and take a little snack to get those hips ready to go. I'm going to do a lightweight version of a squat here. I'll do 3 sets, but we'll only see 1 today in the video. These are goblet squats, which we call it that because we're holding our goblet, I guess, our kettlebell in front of the body. Also going to start with some J curls. This is to get the quads and the back of the body, like the glutes and the hamstrings, nice and warmed up for their set today. So I'm going to start with some deficit deadlifts. Moving here to the barbell. Deficit just means adding some range of motion. So a lot of us can do stiff-legged deadlifts all the way to the feet or eventually get to that point. And so doing a deficit deadlift is a nice way to extend the amount of range that you have with this motion. We're going to go on a little adventure here while I decide where to put the camera. And we're going to transition into regular deadlifts. Now I did 2 more sets of the deficit deadlifts, but I didn't want to show those today. Today I wanted to focus on our deadlift set, which I'm starting with some lightweight here, and also some moves later in the program that we'll talk about. I start with 15 pounds on each side for the deadlift. That's 75 pounds. Change the plates to 25 pounds each, thereby making it 95 pounds or something like 50 kilograms. I'm pretty bad at the math. Now between sets here, I'm just going to take a second to do a little plyometric lunge and kick. I like to just experiment with the body between sets. I like to have some fun, dance around, move, and experiment with new movements and techniques. So I'm actually not sure exactly how many pounds this is. This is 50 plus 30 plus 45. So we're moving into our next set here. This is somewhere around 60 kilograms. I'm somewhere around 70 kilograms. I got 45 pounds plus the bar. And I'm focusing really clearly on what it is that I want to accomplish, which is to keep my back nice and straight, glutes super tight, abs super tight to protect that spine. Now, the reason that deadlifts are super important for the Spartan Race is that there's 2 or 3 movements where you're using your posterior chain to move an extraordinarily heavy weight. Now, sometimes it's only for a short distance, but sometimes it's also for a long distance. And what the deadlift is doing is teaching that back part of the body to activate in unison. So to perform a deadlift, basically every muscle in your body needs to be flexed. And today I'm super psyched because I'm doing a personal best, which is 84 kilograms and is quite difficult for me to do. One more. Finally, I have finished my top set of deadlifts, and I'm going to go back to 45 plus 45 plus 45. We're going to do one last set here. Now, there's lots of different terms for this, but I like to call this ladder training, where you go up and where you go back down. So I did some ladder training on the deadlifts in order to completely utilize those muscles and best take advantage of hypertrophy, which is a fancy term for growing muscles. Now I'm going to move into more isolated movements. These are single leg deadlifts, and I'm seeing from watching this that I definitely have some muscles on the left hand side of the body that I need to release because my leg is kicking to the inside rather than straight back. You'll see my pelvis is twisting me in a little bit of a strange direction here. So perhaps I need to film again and see where the origin point of that is. Now I'm having some fun and experimenting with some plyometric techniques. Plyometrics is a fancy word for jumping. So I'm going to experiment with single leg burpees here and start moving around in that way. You can tell in the second set that it gets a lot easier. And I didn't include the third set in today's video, but the third set was more steady on both legs, particularly the left. And my left leg is weaker than my right. So if you're like me and you have a weak side, we want to do 1 or 2 more reps on the weakened side. Threw in some renegade rows just to have a little bit of fun here, and then we're going to move into our cool down. Now the elapsed time of this workout was about 50 to 55 minutes, about 300 to 350 calories. Deadlifts look super easy when you speed them up and you can't hear me grunting, but the thing is that the deadlift is an actually very, very powerful movement, and it recruits a lot of muscle usage from your quads to your glutes to your hamstrings. Just everything in your body is working really hard to protect your spine as you move that load. So it's important that we take some time at the end to relax, to cool down, to stretch out, and to let those muscles really unfurl themselves. So here I'm stretching out the glutes, the hamstrings, and the quads by doing a pigeon pose. We're going to move into some butterfly to loosen up any tightness that might be remaining in the hips. Stretch through the sides to stretch the lats and the shoulders. These actually do get usage from our deadlift maneuver as well. So I'm going to take some time to just take care of my body at the end of the set. Now, stretching actually does take quite a while just because we need to hold an individual stretch for between 15 seconds and 45 seconds. 30 is ideal. So I'm going to stretch each leg out to the side here a little bit and remove some of the tension from there. And this is going to be really important when we're training both for personal reasons or athletic reasons. This is going to help us prevent injury later on and is going to give the muscle more optimal performance in the future. For anybody who's out there who's training for Spartan Race, what things have you done that helped you on the journey? For people who are out there who are curious about how to get started in athletic training or want to do something along these lines, what questions do you have that can help you to improve your performance? Please drop those questions or anything in the comments below. I'm always happy to hear from you guys. As always, make sure to take it slow, watch your form, go one day at a time, and to definitely take time after your set to relax. Thank you everybody for coming to this video. We'll be back with another daily video tomorrow.